Hello, everyone. I recently learned about the horrific unaliving of George Stinney. He was a 14-year-old black boy who was unalived by electric chair by the state of South Carolina for a crime he did not commit on June 16th, 1944. Given that the anniversary of his unaliving is coming up, I felt compelled to share his story. This video contains mentions of racism, unaliving, capital punishment, and crime scene details that are relevant to the discussion. Viewer discretion is advised. Any use of euphemisms or unusual word choice is me trying to get around the censors, not making light of anything. George Julius Stinney Jr. was born on October 21st, 1929 in Alcolu, South Carolina. Excuse me. This was a heavily segregated working class lumber mill town. Most of the town was company property, kind of like the town in the Jake Gyllenhaal movie, October Sky. As I've mentioned in other videos, redlining played a big role in segregating towns. In Alcolu, like many towns, the railroad tracks functioned as a form of redlining. You know the saying, the wrong side of the tracks? Yeah, this is where that comes from. One day, George and his sister briefly talked to two white girls, Betty June Binnicker and Mary Emma Thames, who were looking for maypops, a type of wildflower. When the girls later went missing, George and his father assisted in the search. Thinking he was being helpful, George told the police that he had seen the girls hours before they went missing. Unfortunately, the girls' bodies would be discovered the next day. I do want to take a moment to say rest in peace to Betty June and Mary Emma. Their senseless unaliving is, of course, horrific and unacceptable. The cause of expiration was determined to be blunt force trauma to the head, but the instrument was never found. And while this was long before the invention of DNA analysis, a simple forensic investigation could have easily ruled George out. He was small for his age. Okay, he was about 5 feet tall and weighed not even 100 pounds. Even if he wanted to do this, there was simply no way he could have. He was not big enough or strong enough. Whoever did this not only exerted a ton of forceful blows, but also carried the bodies a quarter of a mile away. George simply could not have done this. And his sister had been right there at the train tracks with him and the two girls. If the investigators actually wanted to look into this with open minds, they could have talked to her. But this was South Carolina in the 1940s, so logic and forensic analysis weren't part of the equation. 14-year-old George was arrested and taken 50 miles away from his family. Despite the profound lack of evidence, George was coerced into giving a false confession. After George's arrest, his father, George Sr., was fired from his job at the lumber mill. Not surprisingly, rumors were spreading that the perpetrator was black. The Stinney family had to leave town for their own safety. No black people were allowed in the courtroom during this so-called trial. And not surprisingly, the jury was all white. They deliberated for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And George Stinney was sentenced to unaliving. In the hours leading up to his execution, George read his Bible. The unalivers had him sit on that Bible in the electric chair due to his small stature. Now, I don't believe in any kind of literal divine judgment per se, but if there was such a thing, I feel pretty confident in saying that decent people who appreciate Jesus' teachings would fare far better than white supremacists who unalived a child sitting on his own Bible. George Stinney is the youngest expiration row inmate on record in American history. Excuse me. In 2014, the case was re-examined. South Carolina Circuit Judge Carmen Mullen ruled that George Stinney's unaliving was unconstitutional. His sister, Catherine Stinney Robinson, 80 at the time of the ruling, stated that the exoneration was long overdue. Understatement of the century. The two girls' actual unaliver was never found or prosecuted, but a possible culprit was a white man who was sometimes seen lurking around the same area of the tracks. Rest in peace and power, George Stinney. Zakarono Leveracha. May his memory be a blessing. I want to give a huge thank you to Andre White, host of the Redacted History podcast on YouTube channel. I will link his channel down below, and I've listed my other sources as well. All right, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please do me a huge favor and hit the thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Like you Bye.